and the Hello, teacher Luis Arias. Today, Marco Gonzalez and me, Gabriela Fernandez, talk about the international market was affected by COVID-19 during and after the pandemic. The first idea is during the pandemic, the international market could then be expanded due to COVID-19 creating a global economic downturn and financial crisis by the security measures adopted by the governments. The principal reasons that these are the emergency in international market is the closing of the borders and the halting of the production of raw materials practically stop all process of export, import, and mercantile growth. And it's curious because the same integration that was a trend among world economies for the extension of markets was the one that allowed the expansion of the virus. The second idea is disconnection was the most viable solution through trade restrictions that brought with them reduction in local economies, reduction of short-term and long-term investment by business partners, and fall in exports. This event exposed the vulnerability of the world economy and the vulnerability of the developing countries that remain from the world powers. For these all reasons, we can deduce that during the years of the pandemic, all the markets reset and were affected. It will be very difficult for after the pandemic, they stabilize quickly because returning to normality will take a long process. These reasons are reflected in EDB data that say us that South exports fall by 16% and imports by 4% in the first 2 months of 2020 in China, compared to the same period the previous year. And approximately 20% of international trade in intermediate products originates from China, the data given by the World Bank, where they mention that it has given rise to a marked increase in employment during this period, especially in the United States, with the consequent reduction in the demand for goods and services.
Right. Uh, the organization, all the international economic organizations have reduced their expectation of growth with respect to the world economy. In fact, the OECD forecasts that the gross domestic product worldwide in 2020 will be 2.4%. That's because the mainly stabilizer of global economic if the importation and exportation of product in the different countries. For example, one of the most important countries, Japan, has been reduced 16% her exportation and 40% her importation after um, the website www.shadon.nice. That means that one of the most important countries have been affected, and with the other countries have been affected. For example, China, USA, India, and other countries. To conclude, we can say some things. For example, we know that to conclude, you can Next diapositive. To conclude, we can say that all the countries have been affected during the pandemic, but some countries more than others because the countries in via of development of undevelopment countries had a bad situation before the pandemic, and the um, bad effects that the pandemic produced in that countries produces a really bad situation economically in that country. But all of us know that all the countries are trying to do their best attempt to stabilize the economical situation. To conclude, we can say that after the COVID-19 ends, after a few years, for example, in 2022, this year, the economical situation don't gonna be stabilized, but the countries are gonna stay doing their best attempt to restabilize the situation. Thanks.